A dad was enjoying an evening out with his young daughter when their dining experience came to an unexpected halt. While out for dinner, the waitress brought over a note. Apparently, two strangers had been watching him with his little girl, and what they said left him in tears at his table. Even though he was a single dad, it was obvious that the unnamed man had his priorities straight. Wanting to make his little girl feel special, the single dad decided to take his 6-year-old daughter out for a special dinner date, but he was not expecting that the meal would end in tears. He could have taken out his current flame, but instead, he made his little girl his date on a special night. But things were going to take a very unexpected turn. As the two enjoyed their meal at a restaurant called the Old Spaghetti Factory, they had no idea that two strangers were watching them as they giggled, laughed, and chowed down on some delicious pasta. But everything was about to come to light as the waitress headed to their table. "Hi there. Sorry to spy, but my husband and I saw you out with your little date," the message began. The strangers then left the dad in tears as they complimented his parenting. "We were so impressed with what a great dad you are," they continued. But there was so much more to this message. Then, they revealed an all too familiar reality, exposing the reason they had to say something to this single dad as he sat with his precious daughter. From two adults who grew up without dads, they humbly admitted it's so important to have a male role model at a young age. Compliments weren't the only surprise the strangers had for the father-daughter duo, though. "Keep up the good work, Dad. Dinner is on us," their note concluded, letting the dad know they wanted to reward him for doing what a man should but all too many don't. While this heartwarming story shows the kindness that can be found in our world today, it also points to a real problem. Too many fathers don't take the time to be real dads to their children. Sadly, according to the Washington Times, 15 million U.S. children, or 1 in 3, live without a father. Although the number of dads in homes is on the decline, their importance in their children's lives is not. Having a father figure is beneficial on so many levels, including the fact that children with fathers have a better chance of expressing emotions properly. Dads offer a different perspective and give children another person to go to and rely on, which results in more confidence when tackling new things. When a father is absent, it can have devastating consequences. The statistics speak for themselves. 63% of youth suicides are from fatherless homes, U.S. Dept. Of Health census, 5 times the average. 90% of all homeless and runaway children are from fatherless homes, 32 times the average. 85% of all children who show behavior disorders come from fatherless homes, 20 times the average. 80% of rapists with anger problems come from fatherless homes, minus 14 times the average. Justice Behavior Vol 14 p. 40326. 71% of all high school dropouts come from fatherless homes, 9 times the average. National Principals Association report. Perhaps this is why the strangers in this story really wanted to draw attention to what they saw. If we just stop to look around, we will notice that there is good to be found in nearly every situation. It's just so often overlooked. Within an increasingly fatherless society, we can still find dads who show their daughters and sons the love they deserve. We need to give the good as much attention as the bad usually gets, to more accurately reflect the world we live in. Good parents, whether fathers or mothers, single or married, should be complimented and applauded. Parenting is a hard job, but so many of us step up to give it our all every day. Although it's our responsibility and something we should do, it's still nice to have it recognized. So, just a single dad said on Imgur, "Thank you, random strangers. Thank you." The single father was completely caught off guard by the note. He read it twice, feeling a lump form in his throat as he tried to process the unexpected act of kindness. His daughter, noticing his silence, looked up at him with curious eyes. "What does it say, Daddy?" she asked, her small hand tugging at his sleeve. He smiled, blinking away tears, and told her just something really nice from some kind people. He didn't want to burden her with the weight of what was written, but in that moment, he felt an overwhelming sense of validation. As the waitress stood nearby, she could see the emotions playing across his face. "They already paid your bill," she said softly, offering him a warm smile. He nodded, still at a loss for words. It wasn't just about the free meal, it was the acknowledgement that touched him deeply. For years, he had done his best to be both mother and father to his little girl, making countless sacrifices along the way. This simple note reassured him that all his efforts weren't going unnoticed. Looking around the restaurant, he wondered if the couple was still there. He wanted to thank them in person, but as he scanned the room, he saw no one who appeared to be watching. They had left quietly, expecting nothing in return. He wished he could tell them how much their words meant to him, how they had reignited his confidence in his parenting journey. After finishing their meal, the father and daughter walked out into the cool evening air, hand in hand. His daughter, still blissfully unaware of the impact of the night's events, happily skipped beside him. "Daddy, can we come back here again?" she asked excitedly. He chuckled and nodded. "Of course, sweetheart. Anytime you want." The old spaghetti factory wasn't just a restaurant to him anymore, it was now a place of cherished memory. That night, as he tucked his daughter into bed, he found himself reflecting on his own childhood. Unlike the kind strangers who had left the note, he had been fortunate to grow up with a loving father who had taught him what it meant to be a good dad. But he knew many children weren't as lucky. He thought about all the kids who longed for a father's presence, for moments like the one he had shared with his daughter that night. Inspired by the note and the gesture from the strangers, he decided to pay it forward. So the next time he went out to eat, he kept an eye out for parents dining alone with their children. Sure enough, he spotted a young mother enjoying dinner with her toddler at a nearby table. Remembering how much the kind words had meant to him, he quietly covered their bill and left a note of his own. "Y'all, you're doing a great job," he wrote. "Your little one is lucky to have you." Acts of kindness, he realized, didn't have to be grand or extravagant. Sometimes all it took was a few words of encouragement to lift someone's spirits. That note had done more than just brighten his evening, it had reinforced his sense of purpose. He wanted to make sure other parents felt the same recognition and support. In the days that followed, he shared his story with friends, family, and even on social media. The response was overwhelming. Messages poured in from people who had experienced similar moments, from single parents who felt unseen, to individuals who had been raised without fathers and wished they had witnessed more men like him stepping up. Gula's story resonated deeply, proving that the smallest gestures can leave the greatest impact. As for his daughter, she remained blissfully unaware of the full weight of that night's events. But one day, he knew he would tell her the story about the note, the kindness of strangers, and the importance of paying it forward. And when she grew up, perhaps she too would recognize the power of small but meaningful acts of compassion. For now, though, he was content knowing that he was doing his best. He didn't need recognition, and he certainly didn't need free meals. But that simple note from two strangers had given him something far greater, a reminder that love, kindness, and fatherhood truly mattered. And for that, he would always be grateful. As he turned off the lights and closed his daughter's bedroom door that night, he couldn't help but smile. The world often felt chaotic and unforgiving, but moments like this reminded him that kindness still existed in unexpected places. So with renewed determination, he vowed to continue being the best father he could be, not just for his daughter, but as an example to others who might need a reminder love, presence, and simple gestures could change lives in ways we may never fully realize.